It is Saturday, May 28th of 2022. We had some songs submitted throughout the week. 4 of you jumped in here to start things off over the last 20 minutes or so. I've got those queued up. House Parties is going to be the musician spotlight today. If you are new to this show, what this is Devin Song Reviews Live. I review independent music here live on TikTok. It's a weekly show. The replay goes up on YouTube after some video editing, but we have a lot of fun with this. So I listen to music and I give a review of it. There's usually some good information packed in somewhere along the way. Anything that I'm talking about, it's typically just basic principles. It doesn't mean that I'm the end all be all for what you should do with your music. If you stick to some of the basic principles, you can get more people to listen to your music. But this is a platform for independent musicians to have their music heard by people that may not have heard it otherwise. I'm an independent musician and I understand the struggles. I know what we have to go through. So if I can give a platform to independent musicians, that's what I'm here to do. The Elder Emo Hours are here. They do a podcast. If you're not following the Elder Emo Hours, you should. If you like what I'm doing here, you're really going to like what they're doing over there. We work in tandem together very well, building a really awesome music community for independent musicians, because a lot of us here believe that community is the new industry when it comes to music. You don't need a label for getting off the ground and doing the things that you can do as an independent musician, but you may need some help. So that's what this show is about. That's what we are trying to do here. So welcome to the show. There's a submission form in the link tree in my bio that musicians submit music to have a song reviewed. As they come in throughout the week, they get queued up to start the show off. So anybody that submitted music throughout the week is where I start. And we just go in order of how the submissions came in. So if you submitted music here in the last 20 minutes or so, just hang out with us because we're going to get to it. It's queued up, ready to go, but we're going to start with the ones that submitted music throughout the week. With that being said, we've got a really cool mixture of some genres today. I've been called the pop punk PBS here lately because I love pop punk and I'm an elder emo. And so a lot of the stuff that seems to be going on in this show is a lot of pop punk, but there's also been a great mixture of rock music, acoustic music, very laid back stuff. We've had a lot of bedroom pop, lo-fi, we've had some hip-hop, we've had rap. We have it all here on Devin Song Reviews. If you don't like the genre of any of these songs, stick around for 5 minutes because we have all kinds of stuff happening. But yes, pop punk PBS. If I can get the rights to that, we'll make a shirt out of it. First submission of the week is from a artist called Jayqwaun Cash, and the song is called Sirumoda. So check this out, and then I'm going to give you my critique after listening to it. So I really like the build up for the intro here. They're slowly building it into what's going to come up. All right, so the intro kind of brought in more of that right at about 30 seconds. If it was any longer than that, I would say it's too long. 30 seconds is a good benchmark for how long your intro is going to take. I'm having a hard time comprehending the lyrics. So this may be one of those situations where we're getting too fixated on how the bass sounds and that low end, because the low end sounds good. It's very heavy, but I think that's what's getting in the way of the vocals. I mean, can't really tell what he's singing about, but I'm still like, I can feel the song. It feels good. Hey Connor, what's up, man? Yeah, a little quick on the fade out as well. Love the vibe of the song. That's one of those things that I don't typically listen to that much, but I understand the popularity of it. I understand the allure to it. I enjoyed that. So what I mentioned there with the intro is you have about 30 seconds max to do something with your song. I think people's attention spans are so minute now. You really have to get to it a little bit quicker. This is not for every genre and for every person. We're talking basic principles. But yeah, so right at about 30 seconds, we added some elements. But during those 30 seconds, it was building. And so it kept my interest. It wasn't just repetitive nothingness before something came in. For a 2-minute song, 30 seconds is a lot for an intro, but I think he did good with that. I mentioned about the vocals. It was really hard to understand what he was singing about, rapping about, whatever you want to call that. The vocals were just not up front where they needed to be. It kind of had a cool effect to it. I mean, it sounded good. I just couldn't understand it. I really like to understand the lyrics more than what I was hearing there. As far as the mix goes, it sounded really good. There was a lot of low end, a lot of bass in that song, and it still sounded pretty clear. It wasn't muddy in my opinion at all. I think with some really nice speakers, that is a really cool sounding song. Bring the vocals up. Don't lose your vocals in the mix. That fade out was a little too quick. If you're at 2 minutes and 8 seconds for your song, you have some time to add some things to your song. You don't have to limit yourself. Why have a quick fade out on a 2-minute song? I probably would have mimicked the intro to the song and kind of bookcased it to where, you know, the ending sort of matched what the intro was doing. So great song. That was a Jayqwaun Cash with a song called Sirumoda, and you will be able to find that on one of the 5 Devin Song Reviews playlist on Spotify. If you want to check out those playlists, they are anybody that has had their song reviewed or been on the show. Their music is one of those 5 playlists, and you can find those in my bio. Next song up is a artist called Souxly with a song called Space. This is another one that's only 2 minutes long, so it better be good. Let's make sure if it's going to be 2 minutes, it better be good 2 minutes. So let's check it out. Short and sweet, 2 minutes, but well done. There wasn't a second wasted, I don't think, in that entire song. I didn't know where the song was going to go. It had that really cool ukulele to start out, which I know gives beach vibes, Hawaii, all that sort of stuff. Then when it came in with the other instruments and the drum set, it was just like it took on a life of a completely different song. It was really cool. It was really well done. It didn't sound out of place at all. I think the vocals came through just fine. Like I mentioned through the song, there was something, listening to it, I think it was the kick or the snare or both was causing some distortion because something was clipping. It was just recorded too hot or it was turned up too loud. I don't know what the case is because I didn't see the tracks myself, but that is the only thing that stuck out to me as an issue. And that's it. Really great song, 2 minutes long, not a second wasted, but you also have the opportunity to maybe throw in an instrumental or something just so that we can enjoy the song a little bit longer than 2 minutes. So it hangs on to the listener longer throughout the day because you got to enjoy it for longer. Maybe that's the strategy here, is a song only has to be like 30 seconds long on Spotify to count as a play. So I guess like making 2-minute songs is the way to make money these days. So can't say that I have any issue with that. If it's a short song like that and you use the time wisely, I've got no problem with that, and I think he did a great job with that. Sinclair says this song has everything it needs to do really well for sure. Definitely agree. Also said you feel like you've heard it somewhere. Elder Emo Hours called it a beach vibe song. RaySavage says, I like it. I like it. I can't disagree with anybody there. Okay, so Baker, I didn't want to interrupt the song, but you had commented, you are an amazing person with a great personality. Keep up the positivity and good work. I don't know how much you know of me, but if I have giving you that impression in a few minutes of hanging out here, you've just really made my day, and thank you so much for those positive words. And Connor said that song makes me want to drink White Claws and kiss someone. I have a feeling Connor's already drinking White Claws. But I love that comment. Connor, I think you should make the shirt. All you want to do is drink White Claws and kiss someone. Baker says, I love how music is viewed by so many people in many different ways. Love the vibe here, and I love your personality. Well, thank you, Baker. We are happy to have you hanging out with us today. We are all about creating a really cool music community. TikTok is not here for musicians, and I don't think it ever will be, but we can have fun with social media and create a community with it anyways. So check it out. This is Good Hangs with I Hate You for Making Me Hate You.
All right.
Oh, Sinclair, I think you had a part to play in that too. My bad. Hey, thanks for the follow. All right, so when it comes to pop punk, a very important element is making sure that your kick and snare are providing energy for the song. So far, so good.
Harder when you won't tell me the truth. How the hell am I supposed to go to bat for you now? I can't even friendships a knife in my throat, but I'd rather fucking drown than get in your life. Can't talk to you, I can't talk to you.
Yeah, it's really easy for those rhythm guitars to come out too far. I'm hearing that a little bit. Absolutely love the vocals. It has a very Tom DeLonge feel. This whole thing it's very Blink-182 inspired. But the vocals are slightly thin because it's a higher register. Easy to combat with a lower register coming in, maybe singing an octave lower, and just mixing that into the other vocals would just give it some more depth. Vocals are really clear. It's a good feeling song. I know it's super cliche, but that would have been a really cool spot for gang vocals. It is what it is. It's cool and it's pop punk, you know. So that is Good Hangs with I Hate You for Making Me Hate You. Really, really cool song. Obviously, I love pop punk. If you've been around for 5 minutes, you know that. This is Pop Punk PBS here on TikTok Live. I feel like I have a good idea of what elements make up a good pop punk song without being a carbon copy of the rest of them. So a couple of things I noticed in that song. It was put together very, very well. The vocals are absolutely awesome. I mentioned them being somewhat thin. And again, because of just a higher register, that can be the case a lot of the times. It can get too much air in it. What I would have just added, I would have added, and I heard some of it, don't get me wrong, but I would have just beefed it up with a lower vocal, just turned down and just mixed in. When I go into the higher register, I will also have a lower octave and usually, some other harmonies as well, just so it gets beefier. Fantastic song. The kick and the snare did sound pretty good to me. There was a moment with some of the palm muting of the rhythm guitars, like the hi-hat and the snare got lost a little bit, and that's pretty common, something that I had to learn. So when I'm mixing my rhythm guitars, the thing that I'm listening to sort of match that to is the hi-hat. When I'm bringing in my rhythm guitars, I'm going to somewhat match them to the level of the hi-hat, so you can still hear the hi-hat coming through. Obviously, the snare and the kick are coming through, and so the rhythm guitars are just almost another, especially when you're palm muting, it's like they're another form of percussion. They're just like an extension of the drum set with musical tones involved. There was a moment where the palm muting comes in and the guitars needed to come back slightly. Overall, fantastic song. I love pop punk. I feel like that was very much Blink-182 inspired. I mentioned there was a moment there before the music came back in and it kind of dropped out. We knew that was coming back. We knew that there was going to be a big hit to it. And I know gang vocals may be overused, but it just would have really been cool right there. Just everybody screaming, because he did that with his vocals a lot too. So he kind of had natural gang vocals if you just had more people doing it. I Hate You for Making Me Hate You by Good Hangs, who will be on this show in 2 weeks. This is Cloutchaser with a song called Clown. Check it out. I don't know about y'all, but I'm exhausted after that one. It's really great. So when it comes to reviews, there's 3 things that I'm paying attention to. One is songwriting. So I tend to listen to lyrics, structure of the song, how that's coming through. We didn't have that, right? The other thing is instrumentation. How well do the instruments play together, in the form of a song? How do those come together? How do they work together? We had a lot of that there. I felt like it was pretty tight, not perfection, but definitely tight enough. It would take me a long time to recreate that. I feel bad for anybody that has to produce that sort of stuff. I feel like it would just be exhausting. It sounds like they play together very well. Even though it wasn't perfection, it was still really good. Third thing that I tend to do reviews on is the mix. The mix sounded decent here. The drum tone I felt was really, really great. It sounded like it had some natural room reverb. So it did have some thinness to it, but I really liked it. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, I guess. I liked the tone of the drums. Those were recorded very well. I felt like there was a ton of low end just because there was a lot of instruments doing a lot of different things. And when you have those overlaps, your competing frequencies are increased. Lyrically, there aren't any there. Instrumentation wise, I thought they did a great job, even though it wasn't exactly perfect. It was awesome, like exhausting and awesome. And then as far as the mix goes, it just sounded like there was some low end involved. Maybe not the greatest recordings. Like the song, great job with that. Glad I got the chance to share that with you guys. So Sinclair, you said it's clearly just basic 4/4. I feel like it was 4/4, but I also feel like at some points I was picking up like a 5/4, and then at some point I think I counted a 7/4. If they were changing around, they were doing it too quickly for me to be able to catch on to any of it. This is BIIANCO with a song called "Pray to You." Yep. See, I've said this with a lot of other songs that we've listened to recently, just having those claps or snaps while we didn't have any percussion just kept it kept the song moving until more of this came in. Yeah, I got you, Blake. Drop. You like that collaboration I just threw in there? So I'm hearing something weird with the main vocal. I feel like it is. I feel like it's a doubled vocal. I think I'm hearing some phasing issues. They're not super prevalent, but I bet if you isolated those vocals out, you would hear it. I'm here for it, BIIANCO. So I saw Sinclair mention a couple times, like I could hear this in Forza, or like, I felt like Dance Dance Revolution vibes, like super upbeat and really cool to dance to. I could hear that in a club and I wouldn't be mad at it. Again, it's just one of those genres I don't sit around and listen to all that often, but I can definitely appreciate that. I think you did a great job with it. The only thing that stood out to me was what sounded like phasing issues on the doubled main vocal. Didn't even stick out that much. I think if you isolated it, you would hear it a little bit more. The other thing is there may have been opportunity to utilize more space, take some of those elements and just create movement. I love when, especially I'm sitting here wearing headphones, right? If there's movement from left to right, front to back, I'm really going to be able to pick up on it better than if I was just listening to this through my phone, which, by the way, I hope you guys out there are not doing. You should at least have some earbuds or something in to really appreciate what we're doing here. I feel like you could have taken that song, taken some of those elements that were there. They weren't like improperly spaced. They still stood where they needed to. Just moving some of that stuff from left to right. Or so I played around on my last song with a I can't even remember what it's called. It's the cabinets that have like the horns that go around in a circle or whatever. And so like you can just hear it, basically using that effect. It hears like this motion that just circulates around you. This would have been a really cool opportunity for something like that in a song like this. So if I'm going to produce, if I'm going to mix a song like that, I'm going to add a lot of movement and utilize as much space as I can. A Leslie speaker. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that, Reed. Fantastic job helping me out there. So let's check out RaySavage with a song called Where We Fall.
Baby, tell me where we fall. I don't know. 'Cause I always thought I knew where we went.
So baby, tell me where we fall. I don't know. 'Cause I always thought I knew where we
That's some heavy bass.
So baby, tell me where we fall. I don't know. 'Cause I always thought I knew where we went from.
Where we fall, I'm missing you, I need your all. I wasn't planning on loving you, my feelings got involved. I'm sorry for the trauma, I'm sorry for the pain. You stayed solid to me, baby, you ain't never changed. Without you, like building a house without no
Sounding good.
roof and
Sounding
no
good, Ray.
walls. Fucked up, I need one call. Baby, give me your all. And I'll admit
I like the tone of your vocals. I'm
Until
guessing
the
that's you.
feelings
I
all
don't
in
know.
the song while I'm writing so baby, tell me where we fall. I don't know. And I begin to lose where we went from. I'm starting to lose the control. I need to maintain.
Okay, so it is you. I like your vocals, man.
Well, I'm not perfect, and I hope you notice. Painting your heart like your name is Otis. I should've noticed. I was worried about myself. I won't worry about nobody. The truth is, you the only one that love my body and my soul. Yeah, you cherish it like some gold. You stuck beside me when I didn't have nobody. You never fold.
Where we fall, I don't know. 'Cause I always thought I knew where we went from. So baby, tell me where we fall. I don't know. 'Cause I always thought I knew where we went from.
Oh, it's already over. And I was vibing to that. Like we talked about earlier. So your song's at 2 minutes, 11 seconds. You've got time to keep that going. Maybe bring in another section of the song. But that felt really good. So I mentioned like the bass was pretty heavy. I feel like that's one of those songs, like you play that in one of those cars with the subs on it and you can just like feel it coming out of your body. But it still sounded pretty clean even here on headphones. If I was listening to that just out of my phone or, some mono source Bluetooth speaker, I feel like the bass would be too heavy. I just would have dialed that back just to let everything come through. The tone of your vocals is fantastic. Felt really good. I like the additional vocals that were added. We had, you know, some sort of like a hook involved in there as well. Overall, really, really cool song. I'll probably go back and listen to that more because I want to hear what the lyrics were about more than I was listening to right there. I really like that. So good job with that song. So Sinclair says, yeah, dude, you got smooth vocals. I agree, man. It felt good. For any of you that are here, that is RaySavage, who is hanging out with us. That was his song called Where We Fall. Keeping it moving, Blake, Wake and Blake 23 is here, submitted a song. So this is Blake Cook with a song called Part of You. Right to it, right to it. Who needs a stinking intro? Let's go. Ooh. Come on now. Now that's some vocal chops.
That seems so far, but I will push through.
Speaking of White Claws and kissing people, where's Connor? This is good, Blake. So I've got something. I feel like the chorus effect on the guitar slightly too much. I found something to be negative about. Going to hit us with an awesome guitar solo. So this is so he's Blake Cook. Come on now. Okay, Blake, you've been hiding. You've been hiding from us. Thank you for coming out and letting us listen to that. So I feel like the word that sums up all of that is smooth. The vocals, the way that the instruments were moving, just so good. Like I said, I had that one little critique. I felt like the chorus effect was too heavy on the guitar, but whatever, man. If that's the biggest issue, you're doing really well. I love that song. That's gonna be going on rotation, I'm sure. You picked up a couple new fans here. You got people asking how they can find you. From what I could see on Spotify, was that the only song you have on there? Pay attention, because I'm about to give you a little PSA. That song we just listened to, Wake and Blake 23, who's here. Artist name is Blake Cook. 10 monthly listeners on Spotify. Like, come on. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm doing this. There's no reason that should only have 10 monthly listeners. I can't tell you how frustrating it is to see great musicians not get their chance, not get heard by enough people. Go listen to it. Those are rookie numbers. Let's get those numbers up. I don't really have anything to say other than the stinking chorus effect thing. Again, maybe in the spacing issue, I still feel that like there was some spacing that was going unused that maybe you could have just been more intentional about. But whatever. The song was great. I'm not going to pick it apart. All right, Chicken Fox. Let's check out another song by Joshua Criss. There it
Every
is.
time that I failed, every time that I've emptied myself, there was always someone to fill my cup. For those that I've done wrong, for those that I've known for oh so long, I'll always hold a
Okay, so we got a little bit of that that sort of 2000s rock grunginess to the voice is what I'm hearing.
So I thought I'd sing another song. Made it through the night, reached another morning light. So I thought I'd sing another song. From the road that I've walked, all the weight that I've carried myself, there was always someone to lift me up. All the mistakes that I've made, I'm on the path that my life paved.
Okay, so the vocals are somewhat dry, which is, it's okay. They're too dry for this. Take those acoustic guitars, double them, spread them out. The distortion on that rhythm guitar, I'm not feeling it. It's very high gain. Just, there's no meat to that electric guitar. Okay, that solo should be up front, and it's still behind the acoustic guitar at least. Just like I said, I'm not feeling that distortion.
On the road that I've walked, all the weight that I've carried myself, there was always someone to lift me up. All the mistakes that I've made, I'm on the path that my life paved. Always on the place in my heart for you. To those that I hold dear, we made it through another year. So I thought I'd sing another song.
All right, one of those.
We made it through the
Something
night,
about that harmony is not sitting well.
reached another morning light. So I thought I'd sing
Another song, it's the name of it, another song by an artist called Joshua Criss. Yeah, so look, I don't want to say, I'm not going to sit here and be super negative about things. There's a lot of room for improvement on that song. The vocals are really cool. Like I said, it gives me that sort of that early 2000s rock, grungy vocals. The harmony, like I said, wasn't really sitting right for me. I'm not sure why, but I think some vocal tuning on the main vocal and the harmonies is always a good thing. Maybe that just tightens it up some. Both of those were too dry, so we needed some reverb to help it sit with the rest of the instruments, which there weren't a lot of. The acoustic guitar, I would have doubled that and spread it out so that the vocals could kind of just live more in the center and let the guitars live on the outside of the vocals. I think that would have helped everything sit together more. The distortion, just, it wasn't a good tone. If that's going to be your other instrument with an acoustic guitar, it was the wrong tone, just the wrong distortion. Never hurts to play around with different effects. I would guess that the recording that was being done there was, and I'm just guessing, you never know, it sounded more like that electric guitar was mic'd up out of an amp, and all of the effects were preamp, and then it was mic'd up, and that's what you got. And therefore, in the mix, you don't have any control over, you have very minimal control over what you can do with it at that point. If you're not sure what tone makes sense for your music, record DI. Just go, hook it up directly into your interface, record it clean, and then play around with different effects until you find the tone that fits the song as well as it can. A lot of potential with that song, don't get me wrong. That's also a nicer way of saying there's enough room for improvement. Continue to learn and try some new things. The song itself is good, though. I really liked it. Vocals are good, even though we need some work on how they're being presented. Overall, cool song. It had a nice little video if y'all want to go check that out on YouTube. So because that's not on Spotify, I can't put it on one of my Spotify playlists, but it is over there on YouTube. If you search for Josh Criss, Criss, and the song is called Another Song. So if you liked it, go check it out, because I don't know what else he has cooking over there. Josh says, thank you for that critique. Josh, if you're watching this, you're very welcome. If I can help you in any way, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you have some more questions, or if you got some more recordings that you haven't released yet and you want some mix notes on those, you can send me your music. I will listen to it. I will give you mix notes. Maybe it can be helpful before you release your music. The algorithm has figured me out. It's figured out that I'm doing these reviews because I'm seeing a lot more of these lives where people do reviews, or they talk about doing song reviews. I just want to take a minute today and just kind of give you my thoughts on what I'm trying to do compared to what I see other people doing. It's very self-serving what I'm seeing from other people doing song reviews here on TikTok live. What I'm not doing here is trying to make money. I'm never going to say you have to pay me $10 for me to review your song. I just don't. That's not what we're doing here. This is not a self-serving show. This is an opportunity for independent music to be heard. That's all I want to do, is use whatever following, whatever platform I have to help others. This is not something to help myself, because I don't make any money off of doing this. In fact, when the replays go up on YouTube, if there are any ads that go on that YouTube video, anybody that's copyrighted their music, if there's any monetization, the artists get that money. I can't even receive that monetization. I'm truly doing this because I think it's the right thing to do, and it's something that I want to do. Don't fall victim to these people out there that are doing song reviews and saying you can pay $5 to have, skip the line. Look, I know this has been one of those days where there's a lot of people trying to get in here and get in the queue and have their songs reviewed. There's no sense to me to make you pay money to skip the line or the queue. Just that form of this does not make sense to me, and that seems to be what everybody else is doing. This will not be that type of show. What I'm trying to do here is build a music community to create more opportunities for independent musicians. What you'll find when you get into a community with other independent musicians is that the other people in your community have skills and have talents that you may not have, that y'all can work together to utilize that. Through this music community, I've met graphic designers who, if you don't have album art for your next album, you can reach out to these people and they will help you design graphics. I've met, obviously, other musicians. J-Rod is my go-to drummer now to record drums, and he lives in California. I'm in Alabama. We've become friends, and I can reach out to him to record drums on my songs. My buddy Darren, who lives in New Hampshire, records bass on my stuff. Jesse, who lives in Nashville, records trumpet on my songs. Sinclair, who's my moderator, lives in Colorado. Connor, who was here earlier from Dust We Are, is over in Texas. And House Parties, who we're interviewing today, is from Dallas, Texas. But what I'm getting to is that if you get into a music community of people who actually care about each other and want to support each other, you're going to find that all of the things you have to do as an independent musician, if you're lacking the skill, get into a community where people can help you. And that's what I'm doing. Okay. I just had to throw that out there because it kind of upset me when I saw 10 of these people as I'm scrolling through and seeing their lives being like $10 to have it reviewed, $5 to skip. And it's very frustrating to me. There's my rant for the day. Sorry about that. Thank you, everybody, for sitting through that. It's Jache, so I don't know if that's Jace or what, but I'm going to go with Jace because it seems to make most sense to me. Jace with a song called This Is He. Hello. Jache. There it is, Jache. Thanks. Now we know.
This is me, this is you, this is what you're gonna do when I pull up on your drive. I got that look up in my eyes, and if you wonder why I'm right, I'm just a rapper in the sky. Just put your hands up to the sky and come and grab it. If it's time, my name is Jache. Have we met? I'm better than I've ever been. It's only record 3, but I'm feeling like a veteran. I'll never make a bet again. I'm paying off my debt to them. I'll never fall behind. I'ma only stay ahead of them. I rock a white tee, like I'm booling in the 80s. Put some mind to the limit, like I'm in the Navy. Head is on a swivel, trying to keep from going crazy. Listening to him, acting like that isn't what made me. Wallet in my pocket, talking like he really starving. Hungry for the money, we ain't really trying to bargain. I just want a Rolls Royce and a pair of Jordans. I ain't satisfied until
Don't we all?
another garden.
Hey, I've been down this road, don't know where to go. I've been falling down, trying to make it out. I don't think I can, I still gotta try. Grinding till I die, here we go.
The verse is wild because I'm versatile. I've been laughing at you clowns so it hurts to smile. The music sounded like a bunch of words compiled. If you're calling up the game, I'll be the first.
Okay, so I'm going to say I feel like, and this just maybe is genre specific, but I feel like we're too fixated on the bass and not allowing the musical elements to come out. It's like we need to bring that dun dun dun, like that, whatever that is, the strings or piano or synth or whatever that is. Bring that up. Bring up some of those musical elements too.
I've been down this road, don't know where to go. Not a clue. I've been falling down, trying to make it out. I don't think I can. Can I do it? Can I do I still gotta try. Grinding till I die, here we go.
Throwing dirt on my name until there's dirt on my grave. They don't seem to appreciate this road on my pave. I'm not about to give up, I'm a adult till I'm paid. I'm trying to make it all work out in such a wonderful way. Bad habits are breaking it, got a chance and I'm taking it. Hope that I ain't mistaken. If I'm still banking, I'm making it. Got a lot on my plate and I got a lot at the stake. But it don't begin to take away from what I've already made.
It's good. You're doing a great job with the time. Oh, hold on.
Psych, bro, I'm about to go. Coming up running for money, exotic the people, nobody wanna be found. I'm taking a minute, I'm ready to drop it away. I'm climbing, I'll get to the top and kill them in jar. Killing them all. I got a spin and they're ready for more. I'm getting better than ever before, but nobody knows what I got in the store.
Yeah. Yeah, so like literally right as I was trying to say how you were doing a great job of your timing of your lyrics and using that as a rhythmic element, and then as soon as I was about to say that, you come in with that, and holy smokes, guys. That was really good. That was really good. Biggest critique I have is from a musician's perspective. I wanted to hear more of the musical elements, like that piano or strings or whatever instrument that was. Sounded really good, but I wanted to hear more of it. And then there were some other minor musical elements that just seemed really, really distant because that bass was coming in and just kind of like imagine sitting beachside and the ocean wave comes in over the shore. And that's what I feel like the bass was doing on top of the sand that was the foundation of the rest of the song. That's a pretty dope metaphor, y'all. That's my critique of it. Really great job. That's that genre I don't listen to a whole lot of, but man, I can appreciate what you did vocally with those lyrics. That was really great. That was my favorite part of the song. So good job with that one. So this is Aengee, who just cracked open a beer. I'm gonna do the same while we listen to Aengee with a song called "Burn." Okay, it's a good feeling intro.
The right person at the wrong time. The right script with the wrong line.
Cheers.
The right poem with the wrong rhyme. And a piece of you that was never mine. The right person at the wrong time. The right script with the wrong line. The right poem with the wrong rhyme. And a piece of you that was never mine. Good, good, better, better, best, best. Never, never let it rest, rest. Till your good is better and your better is best, best. Yeah, 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 yeah. Flowers will die, the sun will set. But you, my friend, I won't forget. You are so precious and you'll never grow old. It's engraved in my heart in gold. The right person at the wrong time. The right script with the wrong
All right, so the vocals,
poem with the wrong
obviously we're using auto-tune as a vocal effect.
was never mine.
I think you could do without it, but I also understand that that's just, it's an artistic style. I love the feel of this. It's, yeah, so you said, I see in the comments you said that you recorded this in your basement. This gives me bedroom pop feel. I feel like this is what bedroom pop is now.
Lightning and I was the tree, and your words were the fire that burned the best part of me. Burn, baby, burn. You know you always gotta wait your turn.
So it sounds like you're a little, you lack some confidence in your vocal ability. If you're the one singing here, it sounds to me like you're lacking some of that confidence. I think you could stretch yourself some more. What are we doing now? Booty boot bop bop. I'm here. It's cool. I kind of want this to be my ringtone now. Just booty boop 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 booty boop boop boop.
The right person at the wrong time. The right script with the wrong line.
That's a really good, that's a good line you got there.
And a piece of you that was never mine. The right person at the wrong time. The right script with the wrong line. The right poem with the wrong rhyme. And a piece of you that was never mine.
Yeah, that's, you got that well done, that hook. Yeah, what was happening right there in the outro was kind of consistent throughout the song, and that was really, really good. I'm not a huge fan of the auto-tune vocals, and we're talking auto-tune, not pitch correction. So that is when you're using something like auto-tune for heavier pitch correction that is used as a vocal effect. Not a huge fan of it. You did okay. I don't think you needed it, but I think, like I said, I think there's a lack of confidence in what your vocals can do. Keep stretching. Just try to keep at it and practice and get as good as you can. But you got the vibe right. That hook, the lyrics in the hook were really, really good. I really like that. Some of the lyrics throughout the song did sound somewhat lazy. And what I mean by that is I think you could do better. If you can create a hook with those lines, I think you can do better on the rest of the song. Don't just focus on getting your chorus or your hook with the good lyrics. Build a story around your chorus, or tell the story throughout the song, and then your chorus is what kind of glues everything together. So, but don't get fixated on your lyrics only in one part of the song. I'm huge on lyrics. Make sure that the lyrics are your best effort no matter what. A lot of the time I will talk about, if it's in a song, it should be intentional. If it's just there to fill in space, don't put it there at all. If it exists, you're on the hook for making sure that it works. So in that case, love the lyrics of the hook. Just think you could do better on the rest of the song. But great song. Thank you for sharing that. It was really good. House Parties has graciously agreed to be the Musician Spotlight interview today. So I want to give a little introduction to who this is so you know who is about to come on the show. So I'm not going to get too much into it because I know we're going to cover this in the interview a little bit, but House Parties is a female-fronted pop-punk band. They have this song called Tiny Rooms that has gotten some traction, especially here on TikTok. They are a band out of Dallas, Texas. Just to give you an idea, before House Parties comes on here, I'm going to play their newest song, Tiny Rooms, to let you listen to it so you can get an idea of who is about to be on the show. So this is House Parties with Tiny Rooms. So check it out, House Parties with Tiny Rooms. Cheers. Clink. Yeah, all I gotta say is if y'all don't like this vibe, it's gonna be hard for us to be friends. We can be friends, but it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard work. So good, so good. I can't get over it. I've been listening to this like crazy. You know, we do this little interview so people can get to know you a little bit, and we throw the replay over on YouTube so people get to watch it. And I don't think anybody's come on to do the musician spotlight without walking away with some new fans. Just take a minute and introduce yourself to anybody that's watching.
I'm Cheney. I'm the singer of my band house parties. We're pop punk and we're based out of Dallas, Texas.
That's it?
That's basically it.
Okay, cool. Well,
That's usually what I say with like introductions.
that's your elevator
We're
pitch,
like,
huh?
yeah, we're female fronted. We have an EP out called Tiny Rooms and another single out. If you haven't checked us out yet, check us out.
Yes, absolutely. Well, cool. So Cheney, tell me a little bit about how the band has come to be. So, I don't know how long you guys have been, um, working at this goal of this thing we call music, but you're doing a fantastic job of it now. So, I'd like to hear the history about how did you guys become a band? How'd you find each other? Give us a little brief history of how you got to this point.
Me and the guitarist Spencer kind of formed this like early 2020, and at the time we had friends who were willing to be like just temporary members, but they didn't really do anything. The beginning of 2021, after we released Hindsight, we started looking for permanent members, like members that would fit us. And I was friends with Wesley, our drummer. I was like mutuals with him on like social media, but we didn't really like talk that much. So I put like an ad, not like an ad, but I was just like on all my socials. I was like looking for like a drummer and a bassist. And Wesley had hit me up on Facebook Messenger and was like, I'm ready to try the band thing out again, but here's like, I would like to audition for it. So I can't remember what we told him to audition with. It was either one of the songs, it was either Hindsight I can't remember. It was mostly Spencer who took care of that. I just sing, right? He sent back a video and Spencer was like, yeah, that's it right there. So Wesley, we got Wesley in, and then I sent out another thing for like a bassist, and same thing through Facebook. Our bassist Haley, she was in a band called New 95, and I had known of her, but I never like talked to her or met her. But I knew, like, I've seen her play and all this stuff, and so she was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if you know who I am, but I play bass. And I was like, don't worry, you're in. Like, she didn't even have to audition. I already knew she was good enough. I was like, you're in. And so there we go. That's how our band was formed, and we've been playing shows with them. We like officially like did promos and everything by like August of last year. So it's almost been like a year since with like the official members. So it's been really cool.
That's a lot of movement in a small amount of time. So you guys are doing something right.
Thank you.
So congrats on that, because I've been at it for 21 years and I don't know what's going on anymore. That's the benefit to social media. We talk about the negativity on social media, on how it does. We have this music market that's kind of oversaturated because so many people can put their music out there. But the good part is you have the ability to promote your music, and you can also find band members through Facebook, apparently.
Promoting is really hard too, because sometimes like things don't really stick how you think they are, and you're like, okay, let me try this, and it's like you have to keep up with it every single day, and I'm just like, oh my gosh.
You're obviously gaining traction pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Don't rush over that too fast. You guys are doing a great job. So talking about musical influences, and I'm sure I know a couple of them, but share with us a little bit about the musical influences that have gotten you to this point of the music that you create now.
I know at the time Spencer and I had written these songs. It was just us two. Instrumentally for him, I know it's different than what my vocals and lyrics are. I think some of his were like Mayday Parade, Between You and Me. For like my singing and like lyrics, I was definitely inspired by like, and my influences are like Paramore, obviously, Stain Atlantic, The Story So Far, Knuckle Puck, just to name a few of them.
Well, it's sounding great. I mean, it checks all the boxes. Like I say that all the time, of checking the boxes, and it's been pretty obvious for a little while now that pop punk as a music genre is making a very large comeback. I feel like there's a lot of us in my generation who we just never gave up on the genre. It just we had to take a back seat. And now it seems to be coming back full force with some really cool new elements to it. I think one of those elements to it is it seems like there's a lot more female fronted pop punk bands in this new era of pop punk. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that's the case?
I first discovered pop punk back in like junior high. My hometown has like a weird thing where it's not a 4-year high school. It's ninth and 10th grade, and then you go to 11th and 12th. But the ninth and 10th, we called it junior high, even though when you're a junior, you're in senior. I don't know. Anyways, I discovered like more of pop punk in like junior high, and I listened to Neck Deep. I think they were one of the first ones, and it was Rain in July, and I love that. I love that fucking EP, whatever it is. It's so good. Anyways, but from listening to like pop punk and discovering it back then up until like now, it definitely is more male dominated. I feel like there's not a lot of representation of women in bands as much as like it was like back then. You know, you had Hayley Williams, you had Jenna from Tonight Alive, you had Tay from Weird. Yeah, but you know, a lot of those bands aren't even around anymore. You know, you got to fill the spots, I guess. I feel like people like it more because people can be like, oh my God, you know, I looked up to Hayley Williams growing up, and now there's like these other like women in bands that I can like discover too. Then I can also start my own band, because if this person can do it, then I can do it. It shows that women can be like tougher and do music and just be kind of out there without having to be like, you know, I don't know. For me, I was like heavily like seeing Hayley Williams. I was like, I want to be that badass chick out there that's like being tough on stage and like singing and just like want to do it and inspiring everybody else. And that's exactly why I do it, because I love it. So I'm not sure, but I had to like officially answer. I would definitely say for more representation, to not just listen to the same like male dominated, like the same, oh, here's another band that has, it's all male, all male, all male, all male. Nothing wrong with that at all. But I feel like you just don't see a lot of representation for women. But nowadays you do. There's just so much like, there's so many like female fronted bands coming out, like even non-binary and like whatever. It's a bunch of different kind of stuff and a bunch of different types of people. And I think it's really cool that we're getting so much like representation for not just women, but for like every kind of like, you know, type of person and that kind of stuff. So I think people just like it because it's not what you're used to. I guess if I had to say, it's not like the same old, it's something different.
I think bands like Paramore and Stan Atlantic, bands like those that were around a little bit longer. And
oh yeah,
I think that definitely paved the way. With this new era of pop punk, I feel like there's this nostalgia factor that is attached to it, because like we've all been waiting our turn for this to come back again. You had bands like Paramore that just kind of paved the way. Now you know that we'll enjoy it. A female fronted pop punk band, I know y'all have to deal with all the comparisons of Paramore, but it's because there's nothing else to attach it to, and that's kind of a good thing.
I take it as a compliment. I'm also like, hey, I'm not her. And also, especially with like with Bonnie from Stan Atlantic, she doesn't just sing like, you know what I mean? Like she does sing like just normally, but she has so much aggression and grit and rasp in her voice, which really sets her aside. And so like for me, like especially with like Bonnie, that's where I got like my rasp from, because I loved hearing how she sings. I love singing raspy like that. I want to be more like aggressive. I want to be tough. I want to be angry. I don't just want to be another like person who's, you know, I'm on stage singing. Like I want to like, no, here, you know, there's a lot of shit going on.
So what is the music scene like over there in Dallas? How are you guys doing, and how have they been receptive to you?
The music scene that I've come to see here, and my like, 2 years of performing is honestly super toxic, and I really don't like it at all. It's just not a good environment to be in unless you find the right group of people, which it's really hard to in this scene. I've found a lot of like nicer scenes in like Austin and even Houston, San Antonio, anywhere else but here. That's my honest opinion about it. I'm not gonna see. I don't sugarcoat anything. I just tell it how it is.
I asked the tough question, so.
But there's kind of like pop punk here. They're just very, very, very small bands. But okay. I know there's a lot of more pop punk that comes out of like Austin, like Nominee.
So with that being said, let's get out of Dallas. Let's go on tour. What's the one band right now that you would want to go on tour with the most?
Either Stan Atlantic or Magnolia Park. I'm good friends with Magnolia, so I would just like love to go because they're great musicians and their music is amazing. But as like friends as well, I would love to like hang out with them more. So like last night I was at San Atlantic in San Antonio and I did guest vocals for a pity party.
Look at you go.
So that was super cool, but I got to meet some of the members. But they seem really cool and I feel like our music would go so well with opening up for them as well. So both of those bands.
It's so cool that you know who Nominee is.
Yeah.
I'll give you the short story. Andy, their drummer, hopped into my buddy. Do you know J-Rod, the drummer who's
Kinda.
he was doing a live one day and Andy, Nominee's drummer, hopped in and he was like, you should listen to my song. And he did. And we were like, oh, this is freaking awesome. And so it became like one of our favorite bands. And then they played Furnace Fest here in Birmingham last September. And but unfortunately I didn't get to meet the drummer. He was already like sleeping in the van or something, but I got a shirt and I got to take a picture with the rest of the guys. And that was really cool. It was like such a small world how I found out about you from your drummer just hopping into a live and saying, hey, check out my song. And now here you are in Birmingham and I'm getting to listen to Nominee. So, and they killed it, by the way. They were one of the best bands.
Do every time. I met them a couple of years ago, like in 2015 when they were at like an acoustic stage with like no one there. I was like, this band kind of fucks.
Everybody knows what the last 2 years have been like. It's been rough for the entire world, right? You, in the process of the last 2 years, you've started working together with these other bandmates and writing music and all this kind of stuff. And it seems to be the story with a lot of musicians is that a lot of us took the time we had to kind of reset and figure out what the crap we want to do. Over the last 2 years, what's the one thing, if you had to dial it back to one thing, what's the one biggest thing that you've learned about yourself?
To not trust people.
That's
really,
sad.
Honestly. To not like rush into things. I get very like hyper focused on things, hyper fixated, and I have this tendency to want to like be impulsive and just be like, no, I need to do it now. Let's do it now. Let's do it now. But one thing I've learned the past like couple of years is I just need to slow down. That's what we're doing right now with music is that we're starting to write music, but we're like taking our time. We're not like, oh, it needs to get done by this time. We're just writing to write. Just from like the little demos we've written so far, it's good, some good shit right there.
What is the statement that you want your music to make?
The things that I write about, a lot of people can relate to it, so they know that, oh, they're not alone in like a situation if they think that they are. I love the whole like, it's just to show that women can be like, we can be vulnerable. I want to be angry. I want to be tough. I want to be loud. I want to be obnoxious without people being like, hey, calm down. I want to show that women can be like, be super tough out on stage and be tough and be loud and be angry and be whatever the fuck they want to be. Sorry. Be whatever they want to be and just with that total freedom and then write about our experiences, you know. I write about a lot of like relationships. That's what Tiny Rooms is about, like trauma, mental health, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, we all can probably relate to it in some way, but that would be my main statement.
Like I keep saying this, you're doing a great job. I don't want you to overlook the fact that you guys are doing really fantastic work.
Oh, thanks.
So you've kind of mentioned a couple of things that you're slowing down. You got some things in the works. What can you tell us about what you're working on currently, and what can we expect, and what can we get excited about for what's next to come for house parties?
Currently, we're working, and these are just like the start of songs. We don't really have like a whole song written out yet. But from what I do know, out of the 3 that we're working on right now, 2 of them are very like pop punk, kind of Tiny Room style, but with like a twist to it. One of the songs is very like heavy. Like we're fucking angry, basically. Like we're angry and you're going to know that we're angry, and it's nothing like what we've done before. Like, and maybe like Hindsight, because Hindsight was an angry song, but like way heavier. Have you heard Molotov by Stan Atlantic? It's the last song on their new album, but it's like their heaviest one. That's kind of what the new song is. One of the songs is too. So expect some heavy, angry music coming up. I have a lot of anger in me about certain things, but I find to like write it into song and to perform it on stage. And I get really angry on stage too. Like I get so into it. I find that's the best way to like deal with the anger that I have. But that's like something I found to be like the best way to do that. So this next couple of stuff that you hear, it's like, okay, she's super pissed off. Like she's pissed off. And I am. But you know, save it for the music, save it for the stage.
You got me looking forward to it. I can't wait to hear it. And you know, music is an outlet for us musicians. So
especially when you can't afford therapy either. So
I've got a lyric that I've been hanging on to for a song that I want to do. That is nostalgia is cheaper than therapy.
Oh, I like that.
I haven't been able to make it. I've been trying to force that line into songs too much, and I'm like, nope. When I have that song, it's going to be surrounded around that, and I don't want to force it. But I've got that sitting there waiting to go.
One thing I've learned is to never ever force yourself to do something. The right time will come with it. Even if it takes forever, the right time will come with it. Because I'm sitting on a lot of good lyrics that have nothing right now, and I'm just like.
Well, that's so cool that you have other bandmates to collaborate and kind of take that to, and that is it's been a long time since my project has been a full band, but that was my favorite part of it. Was I'm not responsible for every part of this, and it's always better when you get collaboration between good bandmates. Bad bandmates, it's not fun at all. You get good bandmates that know how to work together, and it is an absolute blast.
I know Wesley and Spencer do like producing stuff on the side as well. So they have been writing a lot too. And then whenever it's time for Haley to come and put her bass parts in, she'll end up writing that. So like we're full on collaborating on this new stuff. It's not like, oh, hey, Spencer and Cheney wrote it, let's go play it. Right. No, we're like all writing it. It's pretty cool.
If you're not a musician, there's so much of being a musician that people just will never comprehend and understand. What you just said of being excited about what you're working on, people miss the fact that that does not happen 100% of the time. It's not always fun and exciting. Sometimes it's really hard work.
Sometimes also with that, it's like, depending on like what the meaning of the song is, sometimes it's really hard to write about something so deep with yourself so you don't enjoy it as much. It's not always sunshine and rainbows.
This seems to be a place where we can talk about these things. And what I'm learning from a lot of musicians writing music is a lot of it is stemmed from mental health these days. And if you think of what we've gone through in the last couple of years, I'm just glad we're having the conversation at this point. Like, I feel like we've finally had enough, and it's like, we need to talk about this. And we want our music. We're going to use our music as an outlet. We're not going to hide behind that stigma anymore. I write about mental health now. When I was a kid, I wrote about being a kid and having fun and, you know, summertime and going to the beach and, you know, it was a lot more fun. And now it's like, I'm still making that music, but now we're talking about things that actually matter.
Even though I mostly write about angry hate songs, there's some in there about mental health. I know Broke is mental health. Broke's about mental health.
Somebody's going to relate to that, and it's going to mean something to them. So next time you get discouraged, just remember that Devin said, don't get discouraged because you're awesome, and we really appreciate what you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
So just to wrap this up and close it out, I like to, one, give you the opportunity to just make a statement. So if there's something you want to say to anybody watching this now or watching on the replay later, that's kind of how we close it out. But also, like, where can people find you? How can they support you? How can they vote for you? You know, that sort of stuff. What socials are you on? Where can they listen to your music?
You can listen to our music anywhere. We're on everything. Our socials are House Parties TX. So if you just click on our username up there, it'll show you what it is. And that's all of it on all the social media stuff. If you want to vote for us for Sad Summer, if you've already made an account, because it's round 2, so it'll only let you vote if you've made an account. So if you are watching and happen to have made an account already, you go to battle.sadsummerfest.com. Hopefully we win. Before I do like my final statement, I want everyone to know that's listening, we are playing Pop Punk's Not Dead Fest in Buda, Texas on July 30th. We're opening up for Bowling for Soup and Less Than Jake, and there's other good bands on there as well. If you want to know more about that, go to our Instagram page. We have it posted with all the information and the flyers on it. So hopefully you guys can make it out to that. My final statement for everyone watching is do what makes you happy. Don't listen to the opinions of others. Literally, they don't matter at all. People who judge other people are ridiculous. So just do you, be happy, do whatever you want in this world. If that's making music, it's making music. Follow your dreams, do whatever you want, and just be careful who you trust. And
That's
listen to
great.
our music.
And listen to your music, yeah.
Tell your
Do all
friends
these
about it.
things, but also while you're listening to our music. Cheney, thank you so much again for coming on here
course.
and doing this. It means so much to me. I'm not this huge platform. You coming on here, it really does mean a lot to me. There's people that watch this and they get a lot out of it. Really appreciate you coming on here. I'm really excited about what you've got coming up. I would encourage anybody watching to go support house parties because they're awesome, great music, great people, and are doing great things. So Cheney,
Okay.
thank you again for coming on here, and hopefully we'll
Thank
catch
you.
up.
I
I'll
enjoyed
send you
it.
an email with some stuff as well, just to stay in touch. And yeah, I'd be happy to have you back or have some of the other band members
Oh, I'll be
as well.
back.
So, all right,
Hopefully I
well,
can
stay
get
in
you
touch
back
with
in.
me. Just know that whatever I can do for you, I'm here to help.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank
So-
you.
All right, well, you take care. I'll talk to you later. Okay.
You too. Bye,
Thanks.
everyone.